What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Deposit That podcast. They say that in order to have a good attorney, you need to find an old Jewish man attorney. So I've done the exact opposite of that, and I found a young, pretty Italian female to basically, I always call her my in-house counsel, even though we're not engaged by any way, but this is my in-house counsel. So everybody, welcome Jeana Pinto to the show. Welcome. Thank you for coming.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
You said you were nervous about being on the show?
A little bit.
Why?
I don't know. I'm afraid you're going to ask me crazy questions.
Like personal questions? I mean, we can do that if you want.
No.
So how the heck did you become an attorney?
Oh, my God.
Let's hear this.
So when I was a kid, you won't know this probably because you're young, but there was a show called L.A. Law.
Okay.
L.A. Law. So I was a kid. I used to watch this show all the time, and they were just, killing it. There was women back then as attorneys in front of judges, and I was like, I could do that one day, even
Serious?
when I was 6 or 7 years old.
Really?
Yeah.
But
So
you didn't
I
go
did.
right into law, did you?
Yeah.
Right out of school?
Yeah. I went to University of Florida.
Gator.
Gators.
Yep.
And you're a Gator fan too,
Yeah, I like
right?
the Gators.
Right.
Yeah, occasionally. When they're good.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're a front runner.
Yeah.
And then went right to New York Law School here in New York. And, started practicing right away.
At what age?
23.
Now, did you go right to like a big firm, or did you start your own
22.
thing?
No, I went to a small practitioner.
Purposely or by opportunity?
Yeah, purposely. For the summer. Like, I guess that my last year of law school, I started doing it in the summer, like a summer intern.
Mm-hmm.
And I did like SEC litigation, real estate, commercial real estate for the most part. And I learned how to do closings. And I realized that I did not like SEC litigation at all. Boring.
Yep.
Lots of paperwork.
Yep.
And then from there, I went to a construction litigation firm. Actually here in the city, George Ulis and Associates, and they were great. They did a ton of construction litigation, represented the contractors for the most part. So I learned that side of the business, and they also did closing, showed me about all that, little landlord-tenant here and there.
So you did it all, pretty much.
I did it all.
And then you went from there to where?
To working for a company doing like hard money and closings, residential refis. This is at the height of the market. There was a ton of refis.
06, 07, 08?
Yeah. It was 05, 06, 07. And it was just booming. I mean, those were the no doc loan days. And everyone was closing. And, back then we were doing closings in like, Dunkin' Donuts basements.
Anywhere.
Yeah, people. My first closing ever by myself was like in the basement of some like Goomba.
Interesting. In the Bronx. Probably
Right.
in the Bronx.
It was in the Bronx, I think. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Stacks of cash everywhere, probably.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
So did you ever feel being a young female attorney you were at a disadvantage, or did you use that? I know you, so you probably used it as an advantage. Did you ever feel disadvantaged because of that, or inferior?
Sometimes. I have a strong personality. Well,
Don't be fooled by the smile. Trust me.
I have a strong personality, so I think that in this business, this predominantly male-based business, especially real estate, you have to hold your own. And I was intimidated a lot by being in a circle of men discussing big projects.
But I would say like you're like a guy's girl. I think they say right? You're a girl's guy, guys. Girl,
I'm more guy friends than girls.
Yeah. You can hang with the guys and like you're respected.
Definitely.
Most women we have on the show are that.
Right.
Did you develop that at an early age, or do you think?
I think so. Yeah, because I worked my whole life, and I just learned that. Listen, growing up, it's a man's world. Not anymore, but
It's changing.
It was.
Yeah.
But I knew that I was equal, if not better, than a lot of the men that tried to
See, we know it's interesting. So, like, again, knowing you, having known you for years now, it's like you don't go out there and say, like, I know I'm better than you. I'm a woman. And, if someone that you're better than, you kind of just, like, let them go and think they're better. And then you come and crush them, right? So, like, does that come from a confidence standpoint, or does it come from, like, I'm just not going to engage in that petty banter?
Right. I don't know if it's confidence or the fact that I just... I want somebody on the other side to respect me. And I'm not going to obviously argue with somebody and say, well, I'm a woman.
Right,
it doesn't matter.
Right.
Man, woman, it doesn't matter. Respect is respect. If you give it, you should get it. and if you get it, you should give it. So, I think that it really is, it's hard in some, circumstances when you're sitting at a huge conference room table with, all the partners at like Mayor Brown and
Sure,
big firms.
sure.
And I've done it before as in-house counsel when we're doing big deals. And, you just have to learn that, if you don't have to know the answer. And if you don't know it, you got to just kind of play it off
Sure.
and say, you know what, let me get back to you on that.
So what advice do you have for insecure people in general, but specifically insecure women that feel like they're not able to compete at a certain, I'm going to use, me, I don't care whether you're male or female. Like if you do your job, you do your job.
Yeah.
If you deliver, you deliver. But some women feel like they're playing in a man's world or a man's game, and they have to overshoot to like overprove themselves or over dominate an email, a transaction, whatever, a deal. What's your advice for the insecure ones?
No, I mean,
Because they're out there.
Yeah, no, you have to be confident in your field, and you have to educate yourself on a daily basis. I'm always educating myself. Like I went and took a fair housing class just
Right.
to learn about
Right.
the laws and stuff, fair housing. If you are educated and you can compose yourself and gain respect from somebody, there's no reason why you can't be in a room with other people that have done more and been more places or been doing it longer.
Sure.
I mean, you're just as good. You're just as good at what you do. You wouldn't be where you are if you weren't.
You know what I love? So like, again, you obviously know me. I go on my rants and raves, right? And like, I fire away. Like I told you, like, I had like no fucks given for a long time, and like at this point, at the ripe old age of 32, I have like zero fucks given. Like I didn't care back in 2007. I definitely don't care now.
Right.
Like I call it how I see it, right? I love dealing with women I don't love dealing with women. I love dealing with women attorneys that are like, hey, I want to be treated like equal. I want to be treated like a man. And then you reply to an email and they like take everyone off the CC and they're like, how dare you speak to me like that? I'm a woman. It's like, hold on a second here, right? Like, it's like, hold on. I give you the respect. I treat you just like I treat everybody else. I said the fact, and then you take everyone off the email because now all of a sudden you're like, what are you trying to say to me?
Right.
You can't have it both ways.
Right. No, I know. I don't ever, I've never pulled the woman card or felt like, I have the right to treat somebody poorly because, I'm a minority in the room or something like that. Never. And I'll always admit when I'm wrong or if I don't know something, and the person sitting next to me could be a female that knows more than me. I've met 100, really, really great, smart, brilliant women in the legal field too, and I'm constantly learning from them as well. So I don't like to engage in any kind of banter,
at all,
for lack of a better word, but or that if somebody there's actually a lot of men attorneys that I've dealt with that will try to engage in that
automatically,
patronizing.
I feel like they do that with everybody, not even just women attorneys in general.
And then you notice that that's exactly it. It's just their personality.
It's like you have ESQ. It's like you have ESQ at the end of the title, so automatically like you want to be a dick because of it. I'm like, I don't care if you have ESQ, MBA, ABC. I'm like,
PhD,
your 3 letters, I don't
matter.
give a fuck about.
Right, exactly.
But why do people, in your opinion, why do lawyers in general, because they have ESQ at the end of their name, right? Try and flaunt that or like act like they're the biggest, smartest, toughest guy in the room when they're not.
I think that's an insecurity. At the end of the day. At some point in their life, they felt they had to prove something to somebody.
So it is an insecurity.
I think so. I don't even think it's a man-woman
So ESQ
thing.
should be changed to like INS, insec.
I don't know. I don't, half the time I don't even put ESQ unless it's needed. And I'm on, I like to think that I'm on equal playing ground with my paralegals. Half of them may know more than me about certain things, So it's really about just proving yourself. And as a woman, you have to know that, well, actually, I tell my daughter the sky's the limit. And we always joke because she says, well, don't say the sky's the limit when there's footprints on the moon.
Oh, so, she one-upped you.
Yeah, she one-ups me all the time when I say that. But it's true. You have to just do what you love, more importantly, not worry about who's in the field. And there's women contractors out there. There's women
crushing
developers just crushing it. Because they put the work in, If you put the work in, whether you're a woman or a man, and you educate yourself and you stay on top of it and you treat others with respect, and kindness, I think then that's it. You know, you're on top of the game.
You know, in our game, you know, real estate, right? Money, whatever.
It's a game.
It's a game, right? How do you deal with the politics of it? You know, I know that we've personally been on emails where you've been, let's say, my buyer's attorney, my client's attorney, and my bank attorney, right? And you have a seller attorney that's not cooperating, or I put you on as a bank attorney, because in New York you need a bank attorney as well,
Right.
and the buyer attorney's pissed that you're the bank attorney. The
Right.
seller attorney doesn't like the buyer's attorney, they take it out on you, and they're
Yeah.
like, no, we're closing at my office, no, we're
Right.
closing at my office, no, we're
Yeah.
closing at 2, no, we're closing at
Yeah.
2:30. How do you play that politic game?
You know, I give in a lot on those little things. There comes a time when you have to say that something's just not worth arguing about. Pick and choose your battles. You know, I would rather fight a battle for my client who might lose on something and really be stuck rather than argue with some guy over, or woman or whoever, over, you know, whether or not we're closing at 2 as opposed to 2:30. I'm just not in the stage of life anymore where I want
Right.
to argue
You don't
over
wanna fight
half
over
an
it.
hour.
Right.
It just doesn't matter, you know.
I feel like a lot of
So-
people get caught up in that.
Yeah,
Like literally
yeah.
every email, I used to
Every
literally
single-
not read emails
Yeah.
after like the loan was committed because
Yeah.
I'm like, this is just nonsense after
Yeah,
here. Like,
right.
no, we're closing Tuesday at 4. I'm like, wait, hold on, the deal's closing in the Bronx.
Yeah.
Why are we going to Long
Yeah,
Island to close?
I know. And
You know?
I've been in that position a lot, you know, but I've also learned that, you know, getting new business, like for instance, bank work.
Yeah.
You know,
have
if
to do
I
that.
want to get in that bank, you know, I do a lot of closings for a certain bank in the city. Well, they're all over the place, but I, you know, 2 specific loan officers for a very big bank in the city, and they've wanted me to go to Long Island a couple times. And I don't live in Long Island; I live far from Long Island. But you know what? I'm gonna do it because I'm gonna keep getting that business.
Sure.
And sometimes
Yeah, it's not
you
about the
gotta
money,
do
it's about
that.
the
Right, and
relationship.
I'm not going to argue with them and make them think that I'm, you know, trying to, you know, just be difficult with the other players in the game when we're all supposed to be on the same side to get the deal closed.
I think people get right. That's the goal, right? And I think people get so lost in everything else
Yeah.
prior to that it's in everyone's best interest
Yeah.
to close the deal as easy and as quickly as possible.
Right.
Why do I feel like, I'm sure most people feel like 80% of the time people forget that we're all trying to
We're all
work
on the same-
together
yes.
opposed to like work against each
Yeah.
other?
It's just, unfortunately, it's just the nature of the world these days. I've really noticed a lot of people who want instant gratification. They want their way. They don't want any hiccups along the way, no gray areas,
Sure.
nothing. And when it comes down to, you know, the final closing, where are we closing? What time are we closing? You know, you don't want your client, you don't want that to be the last thing they remember of
Right.
you. Because you could be working for 3 months, 4 months on a deal,
For free.
easy,
Yeah.
right? And be amazing to them. Amazing, everything's going great. And then the last email of, you know, scheduling the closing, if
Sure.
you start confrontation, it's like that's what they remember.
I had a client had asked me, it's a deal that's currently going on. It's one of my lingering issues in my life currently. Client's like, well, how much money do I need for down payment and closing costs, right? Now, you know me, I'm super black and white, right? And I'm like, and again, if I don't know the
Yeah.
answer, I'm not going to tell you, and I'm not
Right.
going to give you a roundabout figure. I'm
No.
like, let me get the information,
Right.
wait 17 seconds,
Yes.
and I'll give you the black and white
They
answer.
don't want to wait.
So I told the client for a fact, listen, you for your down payment and closing costs, you need $109,000, right? This is hysterical. I appreciate this. The number comes back at $108,000, right?
He's pissed.
Less than what it is, right? However, the reserves required come out to $24,000, right? So on the condition list, it says, as an example, you need $132,000. The lady won't sign the document. She's like, you told me I need $109,000. Why do I have to show? I'm like, wait, do you have the money? Yes. Well, I go, wait, but you had, now I'm sitting here, now I'm thinking like, I'm the idiot. Like, wait, you asked how much was your down payment and closing. You didn't ask for reserves.
Right.
I said, how much money do you have? You told me you met the roundabout figure of 150,000. Like, why are you arguing with me? It's down payment, closing costs are 108 and your reserve
Right.
is 24. But why do people get caught up in like the things that really don't matter on deals?
Well, I mean, in that case,
Like the
you know,
credit
it's-
report fee.
Right.
Hey, it's $30.
It's
No, it's
$30.
$33.
Right.
Like, wait, it's $3.
I know they get mad at me if, you know, they want me to overnight something and then they don't want to pay for
Right.
it. It's like, well, you didn't tell me. You told me, you know, $2,000, not $2,040.
Right,
you know,
right.
like, and it's tough, but I think that if you start out I mean, it's hard. It's different in your business because you really
prior
do have
prior
to give
business prior.
Yeah, sorry.
I'm retired.
Yeah, formerly known.
Yeah.
So it's harder in the banking business because people that are tight, they do want to know, how much money.
The exact penny.
Right, if they have to take out of their 401k,
Sure.
or if they're, refining another property to buy another one, or, even I've done a lot of New York City workers who take out of their pension, things
Sure.
like that. So I get that, but I think at the onset, if you let them know, listen, these are approximate numbers. Anything can come up. If the closing is pushed off to the point where taxes are due within 60 days,
Right.
that adds another,
Right. It's not our fault your tax escrow account's 16,000,
right.
whatever.
Exactly. And I have that situation a lot outside the city when I'm dealing with school taxes around this area, at this time frame, I should say, because school taxes are due now within 60
Sure.
days.
Sure.
So I try and tell them, listen, you're going to probably have another $5,000-$6,000 on your bill come closing time. I've started having people sign saying that I told them that.
Up front, full disclosure.
Just like you have you recognize that you might have an extra $5,000, $6,000, $7,000, $8,000 on your bill, because they just don't get it, or
Right.
they'll say, you never told me.
Right. It's always like, they always play victim.
Yeah,
I think that's
always.
part of the problem, right?
And it's always the attorney's fault.
Oh, or the lender. No, it's always the bank's fault. What do you mean? It's the bank's fault.
I blame the bank.
Yeah, here you go. So yeah, exactly. They blame you because you're wrong,
Call
and then
Jeff,
you're like, oh,
call
it's the bank's
Jeff.
fault. Talk about how important it is to have actual relationships in this business, right? As
Oh my
as
God.
you know, the industry is
Yeah.
trying to shift to digital technology.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't want to talk to you. You don't want to talk to me. Fine if you don't like the person,
Yeah.
or like maybe they're not good looking, you don't want to talk to
Yeah.
them. Talk about the relationship aspect of this business and how important it is, and also how important it is on deals that you and I have closed together where like something might go wrong or something might not be
Yeah.
as expected or the client might do something, how important our
It's
communication
so
is
important.
outside of it.
It's so important. I mean, it's number one and what I focus on the most. I think that one of the reasons that I've become successful is my ability to connect and create those relationships, and not just with clients, with people in the industry.
Sure.
I mean, you and I met, we started
Hit it
doing
off right
business
then.
together.
Yep.
We referred
Yep.
each other. I mean, it's been years
Yep.
now.
Yeah.
And I do the same thing with other bankers and title people. And when I go and speak at brokerages, I tell them, listen, it is so important to have a team that you trust and a team that knows how to work together. Like, if I'm working with you, I know your personality.
It's
I know
efficient.
what you're gonna what you're gonna need from the client.
Right.
I can assure them that I've done a
Hundreds
million
of
deals
deals,
with
yeah,
you,
yeah.
right? And with title, if I'm building a relationship with title, I could call them and say, listen, we got to rush.
Need a favor.
I need a favor. I need this in a couple days. We're on a time crunch. And even with banks, and brokers, it's like,
How important is it to be able to call in a favor?
it's so
No, seriously,
important.
honestly.
It's in life in general,
Right.
I
Right.
mean, I've made so many relationships in this business that I could call in a favor for not even a real estate issue.
Serious, yeah.
I mean, I've called inspectors when I'm buying like my own house,
Right.
and they've given me a
Need a
deal
favor.
because and I've given them clients.
Or free legal advice, whatever.
Right, exactly. And I have people that say, hey, can you review this
75 page document.
right for me in the
Yeah.
next 5 minutes? And I'll do it because you just never know when it's going to come back. And and then I've gotten clients from it. I've done favors for people, and then they've referred me on, like, say, Facebook or social media, and I've gotten clients out of it. You just never know. I mean, obviously nobody wants to work for free,
Right.
but it's also kind of good to have like a barter system.
Love it. I absolutely. I'm a huge advocate of that.
And that happens. That happens a lot. I have contractors right now that will do work for me, and I'll refer them for clients, and there's nothing wrong with it. It's just the business. You really want to know who you're working with. You want to be able to unequivocally say they do a really great job. Listen, I promise you're in good hands.
Do you feel like most people's expectations are so far out of this world today that like it's almost like in our professions, prior professions, that it's very hard to meet or exceed certain clients' expectations? It's unreasonable
tough.
Requests.
Yeah.
We've had clients together that are
Yes.
very unreasonable.
It's tough. I mean, I think, like I said, people want things done yesterday, and it's very difficult in this day and age of, our smartphones and watches and everything.
Most phones are smarter than people.
Right,
Unfortunately.
right. But to have it constantly with you, and everybody knows that, it's like they don't understand why you can't call them back within 5 minutes.
Oh, you get a call. What I said yesterday was you get a call, text, and email. They all go to your phone.
Yes.
Like if I was able to respond to your text, pick up the phone, or send an email reply, I would have.
Yeah.
But hitting me up on 3 different forms of communication that all go to the same source is not efficient.
And also, I've found some difficulties because one of the things I do that a lot of other attorneys don't do is I give brokers, for instance, my cell phone number. I always give them my cell phone number so they can reach me at any time,
24/7.
questions, whatever. Certain clients I opt to give it to also. Or sometimes I don't even realize I'm calling from the car and now they have my cell phone number, and I'm like, oh, damn. But, you give them a little bit and it's tough to pull back and say, listen, it's not appropriate to be calling me at 11 o'clock at night asking about your deal.
Yep.
I don't think anybody...
Or asking if I'm available for dinner and drinks.
right. I've had that
hey, by the way,
before.
I have a client. You want to grab dinner and drinks
I
tomorrow?
have had that happen before.
I'm sure,
actually. Yeah. And so... it's very tough to meet their expectations because they don't want to believe you have other clients. They don't want to believe you have a life or children or...
you're at their beck and call.
Right. You have to answer them. And it's just the world we live in. I mean, I'm sure it's every,
Do you think as time changes, because obviously, entrepreneurship's big and people's time has actually become considered an asset these days, right? Like I could tell you, and I said all the time, like 70% of the time I'm actually engaged with work bullshit, if you will, work world, right? These days where it was 100, now it's like whatever, a lot less than that. 70% of it's still pro bono, me knowing like I'm never going to make $1 from this person. I've been working with you for 6 years now and you keep asking me the same questions and you don't listen to my advice, right? Yes. 70% pro bono, 30% paid profitable. Do you think as time goes on, people actually have something like an Uber fare for professionals where it's like, hey, I have to ask you a question. Okay, send me $4 so I can reply to it. Honestly, because again, I'm sure even you get it yourself. Like, how much free legal advice can you give before you're like, listen, you're bogging me down, and I can't actually go out and earn a living, and then have the free time to do what I want with it. Yeah, no, I mean, I don't know how that would work, but it's got to be something.
I think once you reach the threshold of not really needing to stand out, and you're comfortable charging for that kind of advice. Yeah, sure, there could be a platform like that.
You know what I mean? Because how many people ask, I just have one question. Hey, can I pick your brain? I love getting that.
Yeah.
Can I pick your brain? Yeah, you've only been doing it for 13 years now.
Right.
And you still haven't sent me a lead.
Yeah.
A referral.
Right. And that happens all the time. Or you'll get the client that says, I'll pay you, like a commercial client, I'll pay you at closing, I'll pay you in closing, all their deals.
And then they shake you down at closing to lower your fee.
No, then all their deals fall through and they don't want to pay you. And then you send them a bill and they wait like 5 months to pay because they want free legal. I don't know what it is about attorneys that they want, like, they don't want to ever pay an attorney for advice, Yeah. And I give out advice, on the soccer field and the baseball field and,
that's part of giving back, though. It is part of giving back.
Yeah, that stuff I don't mind. It's just, if there was ever a platform, I think it would be something like...
We should create it. Actually, I think we just came up with something big. Like, wait, hold on. Oh, you want to text me? That's
app.
75 cents. Just type my number in.
No, it could be an app.
Serious.
How cool
No, serious.
So it's a legal app.
Yeah.
You download it, and you can ask free... There's probably one already, I bet.
I'm sure.
But you can have a chat with an attorney for like...
Yeah, so part of this podcast, that we're bringing real people on with real stories that I know, like, trust, and admire, and respect, right? With the hopes that I say, listen, there's certain people that are set in their ways. They do it their way. They'll always do it their way. Right. The real goal of this is to inspire like-minded people, and especially the younger generations, like the kids that are graduating high school or college or don't know where they're going to go in their career path, or maybe the career that they chose fell off or it doesn't exist anymore, right? Let's just be real. That could happen any day. So it's like, you can be a mentor to listeners. You could charge a couple dollars as part of your giving back, because I believe that when you pay for something, it means that much more to you, and you can look at it as...
It's like a trainer at the gym.
Exactly. You can go to yoga once and pay $12, or if you spend $45 for unlimited for the month, which I just did, I only went once so far in like 20 days. I'm like, oh, fuck. But, if you pay for it, you feel like you have to use it, right? Whether it's a monthly subscription, and you respect it because you know what? You're giving somebody something. Right. Like, you can only do so much free charity work.
Right. And but you have to trust too. I think a huge part of this business, this industry, and the society we live in today, nobody trusts anybody.
Anyone.
They don't trust what you
Especially
say,
in
even
real
if you
estate,
give them the
mortgages,
advice. I mean,
legal,
you see it every day.
all day.
You give people advice, and then no, nope. So
Or they try and combat
my brother's
you. Yeah.
uncle's
Yeah,
sister's
yeah,
brother
yeah.
told me that wasn't true.
Yeah.
Okay, and I've literally said to people before, listen, if I walked into your office, you're a dentist. I walk into your office and you tell me I need a filling.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say how
I'm
many
gonna
molars are gonna be
believe
pulled.
you.
Yeah, right.
Like I'm gonna believe
Show
you.
me.
Like, and
That's true.
you have to, and I'm gonna listen to you if you say, listen, your tooth's gonna fall out if you don't get it fixed. Like,
Sure.
if you're walking into my office, and we get a ton of walk-ins,
Sure.
you're walking into my office for advice.
There's a reason for it.
There is a reason for it, and we know what we're doing. So listen, just listen, take the time.
You feel like, and I feel this way for sure for many years. I just realized I feel this way. Is everyone wants to be a negotiator
Yeah.
when they have no negotiating skills and they're
Leverage.
negotiating. I say like incidental pennies. By the time you even send the email, you just wasted 7 cents.
Yes.
How do you handle that?
It's tough. I usually if it's a client, I usually let clients cool down a little bit. Actually, on my way here,
Do you give them a silent treatment or?
Yeah. No. No. If it has to do with the deal, like if they're trying to nitpick with the other side and it's gonna kill a deal, like I give them a little space, let them think it over. 9 times out of 10, they're gonna come back and be like, you know what, you were right. I shouldn't nitpick at a fence being a little bit crooked or something like that. If they're I don't get a lot of people negotiating with me over my fee, because it's pretty much flat fee, and we don't negotiate like that. It's the negotiating between the parties that really gets exhausting, and that's when you have to kind of have the personality to calm your client down a little bit and just let them know, listen, this is what we're fighting over. Even if it's over money, listen, over 30 years, you're talking about like a penny a week. This is what we're arguing over. Let's break it down into
simplify it.
Right, simplify it into much smaller. Because people just, they turn things, a molehill into mountain, whatever
Big time.
you call it. And it's crazy, and it's just But again, that has to do with the way that our society operates today. Again, everybody wants to, everyone thinks somebody's out for them, out to get them, and I think it's our job to kind of just chill them out.
I had a client
little.
last year that was buying a house for $550,000, right?
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. The inspection report came back with $20,000 of suggested repairs. Nothing, nothing serious. Like fix this, fix that,
Mm-hmm.
change the siding, whatever. Nothing that's gonna the house is gonna fall over.
Mm.
So the client comes back and tells his attorney, "I want a $25,000 credit."
I know. I just had that recently.
I go, buddy, do you really want to buy this house? 'Cause it sounds like you're actually you're looking for a way out of this deal.
Right.
You have $20,000 of suggested repairs, not mandatory repairs, not where your house is going to fall over and put your family at risk. Where are you coming up with $25,000? You just want $5,000 extra because that's what you want. When you went into a bidding war, you overbidded for the property.
Right.
You shouldn't be paying $550 for it. That's your fault because you let emotion get the best of you.
Not theirs.
What how you even justifying that?
I know. I actually had a client on a Jersey deal. I've been doing
It's
a little
always
more
Jersey.
stuff.
Yeah, dirty.
Dirty Jersey.
Yeah.
But they did an inspection. Turns out the roof is totally fine. But, maybe it only has like 5-6 years left on it. We don't know.
Yeah,
it
at
could
all.
have 10.
Okay, a year. Yeah, whatever.
Right.
20.
They could say it has 20, and after a year, something happens. You never know. So anyway, they wanted a whole list of repairs plus $20,000 credit for the roof. And the sellers basically said, in a nice way.
Beat it.
Yeah.
Beat it.
And I had to explain to him, this is not how you negotiate a deal. This is not the market that we're in right now. You cannot get money for something that's currently in working order.
Right.
And
Expecting it to be wrong.
Right. So they did a little caulking or something on the fireplace. That's it. Done. It's fine. And then I got convinced them to be able to move forward with the deal.
What's your advice for first-time home buyers? What are the 3 most important things, especially when putting an offer and getting accepted and signing contracts? What are 3 things that they need to know that you would recommend up front to make them more prepared and then everyone else's job that much easier?
I think that they have to listen to their banker, listen to their attorney. But no, everybody needs to know when you're going into buying a home, you really need to know what you can afford. Not what you think you can afford, but what you can afford. Speak to the loan officer, whoever you're dealing with, and you have to have funds readily available. I mean, I've seen so many people in the last couple months that
Nightmare.
they don't even know they have to put down a deposit
At all.
ever. And, I have to take it out of my
401k for 7 weeks. Yeah.
Right, or my pension.
Right.
And first I have to have a signed contract. Well, I got news for you. You're not having a
Or
signed
my
contract.
father said he was
going to
give me 20,000, but now he's not.
Now he's not.
Yeah.
So you really have to be organized with your finances and knowing what you can afford and what you have and what you can spend, and and just listen to your attorney and your broker and your banker.
Yeah, professionals.
Just go, and not be so distrustful of the process, because it really ruins it for people.
They really are distrustful of the process.
Yeah, and
they say you're supposed to enjoy the process.
No, and clients just most of the time are just not happy at their closing. They feel like they got screwed somewhere along the way.
Yep.
And I just think that first-time home buyers need to realize that when you're a home buyer, you have to pay taxes. You have to be able to afford your taxes. You have to
change your locks when you move in.
Right.
Like, it's not our fault.
Right. And you really have to know what you're getting into. There's going to be repairs. There's going to be closing costs and things that you're going to have to take care of. And sometimes people are down to the dollar, and I get that. Trust me, I totally get that.
Every dollar counts.
But you have to be willing to really trust everybody that's working for you.
Do you think your first-time home buyer is really ever mentally prepared to purchase? Never.
No,
right?
They're also overwhelmed,
uneducated, and overwhelmed and anxious.
Yeah. And it's funny because when I was younger and did this still for a living and bought my first apartment in the city, I was carefree. Like, oh, yeah, okay.
Do it.
Process is great.
Yeah.
Let me sign here.
That's your personality, though.
Right.
It's
and
our
then
personality.
now when I buy a place at 40, I just bought a
You're not
a
40.
place.
You're lying.
Don't make me cry. I was like my clients. I was a nervous wreck. I was calling.
You also have kids and everything else.
Yeah.
Context and everything.
Right, but I was like, I had so much empathy then for my clients because of how overwhelming the process has become.
We know it is. We do it every day. We take for granted
Right.
how much it goes on, and we understand that shit comes up all the time, right? And my friend Amal, who was on our previous show, said, I believe every real estate broker, as part of the requirement to become a real estate licensed salesperson,
they need
to buy the house first.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you want your real estate license? That's great. You're not allowed to be this
Until
on that level. You could work on a team.
Yeah.
You could be an apprentice. You could be an intern.
Yeah.
Until you buy your own home, you'll never fully understand the emotion of it. And I could tell you that for a fact. I do agree with that. And listen, I was fortunate enough, or I was crazy enough, or stupid enough, whatever you want to say. Like, it depends on who's asking. Ask someone, give a different answer.
At what time?
I bought it when I was 24, and I bought the place. And like I said, I'm down. Like, I still own it. I'm like probably $70,000 to $90,000 negative right now between the down payment, carrying costs, evictions, you name it. Our lovely tenants that are great.
People,
like, you're threatening me because what?
You can't pay your rent.
Wait, you're late and it's my fault somehow.
Yeah,
Why?
yeah.
Different time zones. But I feel like we do forget the emotion that does come involved with it. On top of coordinating moving, and what we forget is people have to give notice to their landlord. They have to move out, so they're getting pressure from their landlord. They're getting pressure from their employer to deliver their 401k loan.
Right.
They're getting pressure from their mom and dad, and if you're married or with a significant other, their parents are telling you, no, buy this condo, no, buy this house,
Right.
no, don't move to New Jersey.
Saying, get out by the end of the month.
So
there's a lot of stuff.
What's your advice to people to quiet the noise? There's so much noise.
It's so impossible, but you have to, you have to take it day by day and really just.
I tell people, don't tell anybody you're buying property.
Yeah.
I'm like, don't tell anybody.
I
never
told
after.
anybody when I was buying something. I don't want to hear
still
anybody's
don't even
business.
know. Yeah.
But I think that it's really important to just, and it is overwhelming, and I get that. And like you say, you tell brokers you got to buy this place, and I think everyone has become so hardened. When you're in real estate, especially, and I see attorneys that are so hard-faced. They've become so jaded that they don't care.
Well, their wife hates them.
Yeah,
they're not getting laid.
does. Yeah, that's probably it.
You're just sitting behind the desk. All right,
they're sober.
Yeah, exactly.
So, there's a lot of things, and I see, and I'll try to say to another attorney, hey, listen, we got to try and make this happen. My client has, 2 mentally disabled children. They
Sure.
got to be out by the end
Sure.
of the month.
School system, whatever.
School system, got to get back. And some of them just don't care.
At all.
And that I don't get. And that I have no patience for. That's when I kind of like, throw down my F you.
We don't want to see
that's
that.
it.
Yeah.
Now
F you
you're
like
gonna see
UF or F you?
Now you're going to
Yeah.
see the bad side. So I don't like that. But so many people have become hardened and jaded and they don't remember. They can't see, that overwhelming sense of just
Definitely jaded. I definitely see that as part of the problem.
Tough. And what I did, and I would advise everybody to do this if you are trying to get into real estate, whatever aspect you're getting into it. After I graduated law school, passed the bar, I decided I was going to sell real estate because I wanted to learn that side of it. So I went and I sold
So it was
real
like
estate.
the quest for more.
Yeah, and it's to educate myself. Like right now,
And it's
when
relative.
I
It's
talk
not like
to
you want to be
people,
like a
right. I can say
dog groomer.
Right, exactly. Yeah, right, exactly. So now when I talk to brokerages, I say, listen, I've been you. I've been on your side. Now I know what it's like to be you.
Yep.
I know why you're calling me to see if contracts were signed.
Or you have one deal in contract and you
Right.
need the commission.
Right.
You have to close the deal in 7
right.
months.
You got kids you got to feed a roof over your head.
It
you
comes
gotta
down to
pay
desperation.
for. And I get it, and I sold $100 million of real estate, and I get it. I mean, I've done little tiny apartments and big commercial deals. So now I could say, okay, listen, I may be an attorney, but I've been a broker, I've been a buyer, a seller, an investor.
All the above.
I've been everything. So whoever you are in this process, I
get
it.
Right.
I get it.
Do they respect that more?
Yeah.
And they understand that
do.
you get that?
Yeah, and that's why I say, listen, I'll give you my cell phone number. I understand that you're anxious or something, maybe.
But don't text me every day.
Right. Don't text me 35 times in 1 minute.
Yeah.
But I do get it because, I remember being an agent or a broker and saying, oh, shit, like, is my deal
What do I
not
do?
gonna
What do I do? What do I
close?
do?
Like,
Well, I built my business, my Manhattan business, around training new agents because their brokers didn't have any experience.
None.
No one would get back to them in management, and management would call me anyway.
Yeah.
So like I would have realtors like, hey, how do I do this? How do I do that?
Yeah.
What about? I'm like,
I've literally done board
All right.
packages
I'm sure.
for realtors before.
I'm sure. What advice would you give to young women that want to become an attorney, whether it's real estate law, corporate law, whatever? What advice would you give to them coming right out of school? Would you go right into law school? Would you take time off and practice law in different areas?
Yeah,
What would you do?
I would say go work at a firm. Go work at a firm. I wish somebody told me to go work at a firm.
Before.
Yeah. I mean, I still would have made the same decision, but I wouldn't have been so overwhelmed with everything that was going on, what I was reading, all the information coming my way, dealing with attorneys,
Right.
as a 22-year-old. But I would say definitely try, even when you're in regular undergrad. I worked at a law firm in undergrad, and, I got to learn about probate and stuff like that. And I still kind of remember things from back then. But just try everything out. I mean, I went into law school thinking I'd be a sports agent.
Serious?
Yeah. I
One
wanted
day
to
we'll
be
do
Jerry
it.
Maguire.
We'll do it.
like-
Once this podcast blows up, we're going to be a sports agency.
I did. That's what I wanted to do. I was like, I'm going to be a sports agent. I'm going to represent like the A-Rods of the world.
yeah.
And I'm going to be the first female to just get like,
Crush
the
it.
biggest
Yeah,
deal.
yeah.
Obviously,
It'll come by 45. That's my promise to you. I'll give it to you
I
by
don't know
45.
where
We'll do it
that
together
would
by
go.
45.
But, I mean, the only thing, what they say, the only thing predictable about life is that it's unpredictable. So you
Right.
never know where you're going to go. But try different areas, try everything, and see what you like. For me, I can't stand looking at,
Same thing all day
yeah,
long.
SEC stuff and things like that. I like relationship building in this kind of business. I like being out at closings. I like seeing people happy at the end of the day. I like negotiating, things like that. That's my personality. There's others that are much better behind the desk. I mean, I've hired paralegals that say, I can't take this fast-paced, stressful environment.
It's not for everybody.
No, they went to personal injury where they sit behind a desk, they type things. That's for them. So I would say just really try out different areas if you're thinking about going to law school. And honestly, just to be, completely honest, think about the cost and what you'll make, out of law school.
How important does a job offer? So you graduate law school, right? You spend whatever $200,000 on law school, probably more than that
Now,
for the
who
right
knows,
ones,
yeah.
right? How important is your offer? Because I know I have friends who've graduated law school and got big time jobs and then not so big time jobs, and I have friends whose spouses are attorneys, and they're like, no, I should be making 150,000 right out of law school. I'm like, you should probably jump off the George Washington Bridge because you're not entitled to make anything. Just because you pass a test doesn't mean you'll be good at this.
No, and that's a wrong attitude to have.
Wrong.
You got to pay your dues in every.
How important is that though? Like getting the right job at the right firm for less money.
I think it's really important. I mean, I know somebody who was working for the NBA at a law school, probably making like nothing. And he's still with the NBA. He's the NBA's general counsel.
Oh, wow. That's cool.
Travels with them. And now it's been, over 20 years that he's been with them. And the same thing, I know somebody who worked for just even something like the Postal Service, whatever. Started out young as an attorney there. And then now he's like their biggest general counsel, employment attorney. He just stuck with it. But not everybody gets that opportunity. But I would say, if you find some place that you like or a big firm that you really want to grow with or be a partner, if that's your goal, you got to pay your dues. You got to, start small.
So would you say that's your one thing to leave people with from the deposit that is pay your dues?
Pay your dues, man. Work hard. This is the problem I've noticed with a lot of young associates is that they think they're entitled because they have the ESQ. And you're not. You have to work hard. I've been in the business now 15 years. I've been practicing law, and every single day I'm working hard. I'm working at night. I'm, thinking about new ways I can grow.
Yep.
You got to pay your dues. You got to work hard, and you cannot expect anything to just, come your way and be handed to you.
How do you balance being obviously, the boss at your firm for the real estate division, right?
Yeah.
And having 2 kids? Traveling on a train every day and
well,
catching
luckily
soccer
I'm
games.
only in the city once or twice
you
a
are?
week now.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's convenient.
So
Helps.
I'm very lucky.
Okay, let me rephrase it. How do you balance being the real estate boss, the wine at night, and having 2 kids?
Yeah. Well, the wine is what helps me balance. No, I think that it took me a very, very long time to find the balance.
To 40?
Yeah.
Yeah.
in the time that I've been an attorney, it took me a long time to figure out how I can be a good mom, still get ahead in my job, work hard, build relationships. This, obviously when you're building relationships, a lot of nighttime, dinners, social events. But I'm lucky enough that I work for a firm that is so supportive of families. And one thing I will say is if you're looking to build a family and to be an attorney or in a big company, you have to find that right fit that really supports women and families because it's very difficult and it took me countless jobs to finally find this fit.
So it's like a home away from home.
Yeah, we can bring our kids to work if they're sick. We have all of the attorneys' kids come and stuff envelopes around Christmas time, and they want you to
free child labor.
Right. Oh yeah, I shouldn't have said that.
You think you could defend that?
Actually,
though,
my son has a child work permit. But no, so they're really great about that, and I finally found the right fit of listen, I want to go to a school play. I'm going to leave early. So much time. And I have a lot of good help. I have a great babysitter. I just have a good family support system. And not everybody has that, so I feel really blessed for that. But I will say that, something's going to sacrifice. Somebody's going to sacrifice. It's either going to be your job, your kids, yourself. It's been, I don't do a lot of stuff for myself. I drink wine.
That's enough.
But, it gets to the point where you're going to feel guilty about something, but you have to know that it's all towards a greater good, and I tell my kids all the time, if I have to miss something, I say, you know what? They're better for it because they can see their mom working really hard to provide, this life for them.
They know it's for them.
Right, exactly. And I do my best to make it to everything I can. But if I can't, they will know, listen, this is just a little bit of a sacrifice to have this roof over our head and all these great camps to go to. And and I'm okay with that. And you have to be okay with that. You have to be okay with sacrificing a little piece of yourself or your job, one or the other, in order to get to the point that you want to get to.
Awesome. Well, I'm one of your biggest fans. I recommend everyone listening to reach out to you if they need real estate needs, New York and New Jersey.
Thank you. Yep, I'm New York and New Jersey.
Buy, sell, trade, all that.
All of it. All
Awesome.
the above.
Well, thank you so much for coming on the show.
No,
We
thanks for
appreciate
having
it, and we'll
me.
do it again as a follow-up.
Yes, definitely. Thanks.